Visioneers, and welcome to Small Business Celebration. We're continuing our series of small businesses who not only survived the last recession, but thrived. And our guest this week is an American media company who has sent their employees home so they could work and do business from their offices, which is where we'll meet our guest today, and that's a general good idea. This is Small Business Celebration. Join us as we learn from successful business owners and successful business leaders about who they are, from where their business has grown, what they have learned, and where their successful business is going. I am your host, Michael I. Roberts, and we're going to learn something that you can use today to grow a strong and profitable business.
My name is Jeremy Cook. I am the owner of Bakersfield Clean Pro, and I like to listen to the Small Business Celebration podcast because it gives me real-life examples of my fellow business owners in Bakersfield in their own experiences of what they have needed to go through in order to reach their level of success.
Before we begin our interview with this week's successful Visioneer, I want to take a moment and thank you for joining us here on Small Business Celebration. If this is your first time, you're about to experience why, after tens of thousands of downloads, small business owners, small business leaders, general contractors, business owners, and presidents and CEOs and CFOs all download the Small Business Celebration podcast in record numbers on a weekly basis. We want to thank the tremendous content that our Visioneer guests continue to provide this program, our sponsors, and you, Visioneer Nation, who have subscribed to this program, internalized and applied our guests' valuable insights, and because of it, are growing a strong and profitable business, and we thank you. Our guest today is Rogers Brandon, the president of American General Media. Welcome to Small Business Celebration.
Michael, thank you. It's a pleasure to be here.
And for Visioneers who don't know who you are, tell us a little bit about yourself and what is it that you do?
I am the president of American General Media, which is a family-owned media and broadcast company with a divergent group of companies and that include real estate, broadcast, event marketing, and digital platforms. And we operate currently in 3 states, Colorado, New Mexico, and California.
And one of the reasons why we're so excited about having you on is that we are going through some very tumultuous times. And you and your father and your brother started this business back in 1984, and you have seen several recessions that we've gone through, everything from the one of 91, 2001, 2008, and then, of course, this one. And through all of that, you have grown the business, developed it, you've gone into numerous markets, you've gotten out of numerous markets, you've changed formats, and you've evolved and you've kept up with the times. And for Visioneers who are struggling a little bit right now, or struggling a lot because of this current pandemic, very briefly, take us through the evolution of American General Media and how you've been able to adapt and grow and develop and thrive through these recessions.
Well, we have been generally a growing company, and it's our primary and the spine of the business has always been radio station operations. And through the 80s and 90s, my brother and I were very acquisition oriented, and we bought a number of radio stations throughout the southwest part of the United States, but not exclusively, but mostly in that territory. And we were generally successful in finding uptrends in the business and the values of the business. We were lucky in that regard, and in the 90s made some sales and some trades in markets, and but when times were tough in 91, times were tough, and the 9/11 created a very difficult advertising marketplace. the Great Recession was very, very challenging for our business. And this has been probably our biggest challenge to date, the COVID pandemic. And it may end up being one of the most severe and shortest recessions that we've experienced.
Mm-hmm.
And it may be severe and very lengthy. There's some general sense that this might not be the V curve that everybody's hopeful of, but it could very easily be as well. And so, I don't know how long this is going to last, and I don't know how successful we're going to be with the reopening of our economy. We're cautiously optimistic, but what we've always done along the way is been very proactive at the front end of recessionary periods.
How so?
And, generally trying to adjust our cost basis and maintaining as low a debt structure as the company could possibly have, and still maintain a growth and acquisition platform. But debt can kill a company as fast as it can grow a company, and so it's been very important to make sure that our debt structure is in solid place. But you really, what I've learned from some of my friends and colleagues that I've admired is those who react quickly are generally the ones that succeed and survive.
Why is that?
Because if you don't rip the Band-Aid off the wound, soon, it just becomes very difficult to express to your colleagues within your company that the condition is important and dramatic enough to pay attention to. And so it is critical that you keep your colleagues and your employee base well informed about what the condition is of the company and the economy and how the two are working together. And you cannot go into denial about downturns in economy. And downturns in an economy are always far more present than upturns in economy, and you feel them, you see them, and you have to react to them.
One of the things that you brought up was that you need to keep in mind your debt structure, but still need to be acquisition oriented. Why is that?
Well, I mentioned this is a family business, and one of my dad's early partners always said, if the deal is right, or the debt is right, if the deal is right, you can make a lot of mistakes. If the deal is wrong, you can't do enough right to fix it. And so it's really always important to make sure that your debt structure is low. But if you are interested and inclined to be acquisition based, then you have to, it's important to have debt there, or debt capacity, because whenever there's a recession or any kind of downturn, there's opportunity on the backside. And so if you want to be ready, you got to pay attention to your debt structure.
And this particular recession is different in a lot of ways from previous other recessions. But one of the things I've heard about, and I'd like to get your thoughts on, is a lot of people, a lot of business owners especially, are wanting to shirk back or pull back. And if anything, this is the time to get your message out. This is the time to get the word out. This is the time to let the public know that you're in business and that you are striving forward. How is that mindset playing in with your various radio stations here with American General Media?
Well, in some instances, there is nothing you could do. I mean, with a client relationship that is with a business that is closed, right. There's sometimes there's nothing you can do. But we have found in this particular period a way in which messages can be delivered. We have a very robust digital platform in addition to our broadcast platform that has been extremely successful in messaging, educational colleges and educational businesses that would not normally be focused on broadcast. Mm-hmm. So while our broadcast business has been hurt and hurt rather severely in the past month or two, our digital business is up fivefold.
Nice.
And it's it is interesting how opportunity kind of seeps under the door sometimes. And so when we come out of this saying our digital business will be as big or bigger than ever. And
if Visioneer Nation wanted to get in touch with you or a part of your digital business, how do they do that?
Well, there's a number of different ways, but we have websites and that link right to us in conjunction with our broadcast platforms, and most importantly, the relationships that our sales and marketing people have with clients in our local communities. It's just been a remarkable way in which we've been able to generate dollars for that. And again, many of the businesses that are our leading categories in broadcast, mm-hmm. for example, automobile dealerships, they've already figured out and mastered the digital platform.
Right.
And if they haven't, they probably aren't in business anymore. But so it's created a different mix of clients for us, and that is it's been very gratifying, and I think will create another silo of such strong profitability for us on the other side of this thing. We were, in the last 5 years, had really developed our event marketing business with various festivals and concerts and all that activity that the broadcast could support. A lot of event marketers would always say, "I wish I had a cluster of radio stations everywhere where I did business." So we're able to use our remnant advertising on our broadcast to support that event marketing. Obviously, the event marketing has been suspended for, I would say, the bulk of 2020. But that was becoming a very robust silo of business for us. And I think this digital platform that we've developed is going to be one. And 2021 just looks to be an extremely promising year from the standpoint of coming out of this quarantine, allowing our broadcast business to heal, restoring our event marketing, and then layering that with a successful digital business, which is very satisfying.
Are you getting the blue screen of death? Or worse, are you getting a black screen with white gibberish on it? Something that looks like it should be translated by an ancient Egyptian paleontologist? Have no fear. The highly trained staff at Bakersfield Bytes is here to serve you. As Kern County's #1 rated computer repair store, your business's computers are in good hands. Need to upgrade your computer? No problem. Need a stronger network? No problem. Call Bakersfield Bytes at 661-496-5900 and keep the backbone of your business in tip-top shape. Call Bakersfield Bytes at 661-496-5900 or at bakersfieldbytes.com. That's Bakersfield, BYTES.com. We're here with Rogers Brendan, the president of American General Media, and one of the things that is very fun, I think, is that you are an avid bicyclist. Tell us why cycling is such an integral part of your personal life.
First of all, cycling and long distance cycling is great tuition for being able to eat whatever you want. But in addition to that, it is a group sport, and some of my best friends in the world are all cyclists, and we'll spend an hour and a half 3 times a week, and then 4 or 5 hours on Saturday together, and it makes for great conversation, great exercise, a lot of fun, competitive activity, and although I'm not one of them, but it's a lot of fun. Bicycles are wonderful toys, expensive, but they're fun toys to play.
Well, you are our second guest in a row who is an avid cyclist. And I'll ask you the same question I asked him, is what have you learned from cycling that you've applied to American General Media?
Well, in cycling, they say, climbing up a mountain, you need to somehow embrace, enjoy, or at least understand suffering.
Okay.
And if you don't somehow love the challenge of the suffering, then it's not your sport. But it is. I'm not quite sure how it is a parallel with our business, but it is always important to point your bike towards the top of the hill and keep pedaling until you get there.
One of the other things, too, is bicycling is a team sport, or can be a team sport.
Sure.
And when you're owning a business, especially a multi-station, multifaceted, multi-enterprise type business with all the digital media platforms you have and the event marketing and whatnot, your business is very human resource related. And what are some of the things that you have learned as a team cyclist that you have applied to your single greatest asset in your company, which are your people?
Well, I don't want to get too technical in the cycling world, but if you've ever watched the Tour de France or anything in the peloton, the key to endurance and speed is drafting. And keeping 4 inches off the back wheel of the person in front of you. And allowing that person to break the wind and making it 15 to 20% easier. The peloton is not, unlike any human resource driven business, is that in tandem as it moves down the road, it can be very efficient if everybody stays together and works the peloton correctly.
Mm-hmm.
Likewise, if someone in the middle of the peloton goes down, it is not a single event, and it affects everybody in the peloton. And generally, you never see one person go down. You see
the whole team go down.
The whole team go down. 20 or 30 people go down. So we are all interconnected, and our efforts help each other. And when you lose sight of that, you generally go down.
One of the other things about riding a peloton is that you're setting the team up so that one specific rider is the one who's going to cross the finish line first. And one of the things that I've noticed on a lot of successful business owners is that if they put the team together, and in this case, they're in tandem and they're on peloton, just because the person who's in the front of the line or the front of the peloton is not necessarily the person who's going to be the one finishing the cross line or going across the finish line first. How have you been able to take that idea and apply it to American general media, especially in a situation like we're dealing with now?
Wow. I'm not. First of all, I'm not absolutely certain, Michael, that I take the cycling metaphor that deeply into my business.
Okay.
But I will say that even though you're right, there is a team leader who generally wins the race, but at the same time, the team takes full credit, and the team takes. If you're embedded in cycling, you know that it's one for all and all for one, and so it is. You just can't do it by yourself, and that is critical in any human resource business. If you're a day trader, you just sit in front of your screen doing whatever you do.
Right.
But if you're trying to take your business, from point A to point B, that it is very similar to the peloton. That you got to stay close, you got to stay attentive, and you got to help each other. How it applies to this event, anybody who claims to be an expert on global pandemics has only been in school for 2 months, so we don't really know what the scorecard is on global pandemics yet.
A good friend of mine mentioned a few days ago, he said that the last expert on global pandemics died after the Spanish flu.
Right. I mean, how many people, in January would have laughed if I had said, whatever the answer to your question is, we might have a global pandemic, Yeah,
nobody had a clue.
Nobody had a clue. So.
Hi everyone, I'm Ann Hauser, Marketing Director for the Palms at San Lorenzo Senior Living.
Hi everyone, it's Jennifer Pitcher, local public and government affairs consultant.
This is David Collins with Commercial Trade.
Hello, my name is Chad Tonko, founder and CEO of Primaris Market Development.
What do these Visioneers all have in common? They send us a quick 30-second video with their name, the business with whom they're associated, why they subscribe to the Small Business Celebration program, and they emailed it to us at sbc@smallbusinesscelebration.com. Their videos all appeared on the Small Business Celebration program, and yours can too. Simply shoot a quick 30-second video with your name, the business with whom you're associated, why you subscribe to the Small Business Celebration Program, and email it to us at sbc@smallbusinesscelebration.com. Your video could appear on the next Small Business Celebration Program, and we look forward to seeing your video today. We're here with Rogers Brandon, the president of American General Media. And one of the things I wanted to ask you about is, and you had mentioned before, is we are currently in a recession where we really don't know where the end is. We don't know how this whole thing is going to play out. And for a lot of people, this is very unnerving, and this is terrifying times for them. And what are you doing for your company and your business to help your fellow employees or your employees and all the other people that are associated with your company manage the situation psychologically for an end that they are completely unsure of?
This is a good question, I want to back up a little bit, and I don't really know when you use the term that we are in a recession. I think there are probably markers that are recessionary, and deep unemployment and a GDP that is couldn't get closer to the floor and things like that.
Yeah.
But I just from the standpoint of clearly identifying it as an organic recession. This is a public health crisis that has caused businesses to shut down and our economy to close. And there may be things like the CARES Act, where we just printed roughly $3 to $7 trillion of currency, right, that will have back-end implications on our economy. Well, may, of course it will. Right. But whether or not this is truly a recession yet, it's hard for me to define. I don't know. But it may evolve and be recorded in history as such. But to your question, really, we've obviously made some financial arrangements with a number of our colleagues, particularly those who are commission-based and, or through no fault of their own, are going to lose a tremendous proportion of their monthly salaries and commissions. And so we've made some adjustments to them and for them. But the most important thing, I think, are to, number one, be concerned about their health and their well-being. And a lot of that has to do with their mental health. And, we've done a remarkable job within the company of remoting not only our salespeople, our administrative staff, but also the bulk of our programming staff is working from home now. And that was the logistic challenge that was real. But everybody feels much better, much safer. Communication is incredibly difficult with this whole working at home business. And while Zoom has become the coin of the realm, it's still a tricky, way, and the human touch is just not there. And so it's important to do your best to communicate and do your best to support them, because a lot of these people just have not just AGM people, but the workplace, the 40 million people that have filed for unemployment claims in the last 10 weeks. They don't have a understanding of where the back end of this is. And so I just think constantly alerting people that for now our business is very solid and secure and liquid, and that there will be a place for you on the back end of this, and your mental health is important. And what I have tried to emphasize to them, because I know when they're at home and they're doing their best to Zoom to their clients or talk to their clients on the phone, everybody has time on their hands. I mean, I'm so bored I can't stand. But I've just tried to emphasize to a particular sales and marketing people, learn something that you can use on the back end of this. You could learn to speak Spanish, or you could learn, to knit, but also you could learn how to leverage our digital programming and digital platforms, while you have time on your hands. Because a lot of our broadcast people do not have the modern skill set. And so this is a perfect time to learn that.
It also sounds like that, in effect, what you're saying is this too shall pass.
Well, it will pass, and I am fully confident of it. I don't want to be overly confident, and it is not my nature to be confident. It's my nature to be, expecting and hoping for the best, but preparing for the worst. And so it is but the reality is that the world will continue to turn on its axis around the sun, and the sun will come up in the morning. And but it is a very serious event. It's our job really is to respect everyone's safety, and generally we have to err on the side of those people who are concerned about the workplace, and those are the same people that are going to be concerned about the restaurants and the bars and the movie theaters reopening. And so it's we just have to be mindful and respectful of everyone as we try to reopen the economy.
What is one thing that you would recommend to Visioneer Nation that they could do today to grow a strong and profitable business?
They're all cliches, Michael. They're all cliches. There's do what you love to do,
right?
And have some sense of what you want to do and what you want to accomplish, because you never know when to spike the ball if you don't know where the goal line is, and it is that is true. You just have to be responsible, and that's part of what we talked about being in the front end of downward trends. And if you can sense a downward trend without being paranoid, then it's easier to deal with the problem at the front end. And because once these problems are upon you, they're very difficult to dig your way out of the muck after that.
Thank you, Rogers, very much for being on the Small Business Celebration and giving us your wisdom, your thoughts, and your insights, and we sincerely appreciate you coming on. Thank you.
Michael, it's my pleasure. Thank you.
Are you getting the blue screen of death? Or worse, are you getting a black screen with white gibberish on it? Something that looks like it should be translated by an ancient Egyptian paleontologist? Have no fear. The highly trained staff at Bakersfield Bytes is here to serve you. As Kern County's #1 rated computer repair store, your business's computers are in good hands. Need to upgrade your computer? No problem. Need a stronger network? No problem. Call Bakersfield Bytes at 661-496-5900 and keep the backbone of your business in tip-top shape. Call Bakersfield Bytes at 661-496-5900 or at bakersfieldbytes.com. That's Bakersfield, BYTES.com. Who is a visioneer? A visioneer is a business leader who is a pioneer that has vision. A visioneer is someone willing to see the world not as it is, but as it could be, and is willing to do something about it. A visioneer is ethical, smarter, faster, and leaner than the mainstream competition. A visioneer gives value first because visioneers are in the business for the long haul. Visioneers understand the difference between saving money and earning a profit. Visioneers define their destiny. Visioneers create their own luck. Visioneers surround themselves with successful, like-minded people. Visioneers are renegades who defy the mainstream competition and are ready to change the world. Are you a visioneer? Join the Visioneer tribe with Small Business Celebration on LinkedIn, Facebook, and Instagram today.